Hello everybody, welcome along to the channel. My name is Martin Sanders, this is the Football Martin channel and you are watching the transfer show here on my channel. So much coming your way today, but make sure you do get involved in the comments box below and give me your thoughts on everything we're going to talk about today. So coming up on the transfer show today, we have news around Cameron Archer, Carl Walker-Peters, Tyler Dibling, Charlie Taylor and Gavin Bazunu. But before we do get into today's show, make sure you do go follow me on all the major social media platforms at FootballMartin_. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I am off to Portman Road the weekend for Southampton's game at Portman Road against Ipswich Town, and there will be a full match day vlog and reaction after the game as well. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Right, let's kick off with the top story today. I didn't wake up. I woke up this morning not expecting to hear this one. Didn't expect this one at all because the first tweet I read when I went on X this morning was that Southampton would allow Cameron Archer to leave on loan apparently, but would insist on an obligation to buy. This is from Leeds United. They are very keen on Cameron Archer. They've already inquired and it sounds like they've already held talks around it. And there's a real mixed bag of different stories from different sources at this moment in time. But this is what I believe at this moment in time, that Archer could potentially leave. He could potentially end up at either Leeds or Sunderland. They're both interested. That's all across social media today. There's been a few journalists and a few people out there saying that Southampton are not prepared to let Cameron Archer go, but there is talk this evening around a potential loan to Leeds with an obligation to buy if they get promoted of around 20 odd million pounds, which is a huge sum of money. Southampton, they signed Cameron Archer for 15 million in the summer from Aston Villa. He was on loan at Sheffield United, and we will have a look at a few of Cameron Archer's statistics in the Premier League for Southampton this year. Scored the 2 goals. He's only started 10 games. He's been involved in 21 Premier League matches. And I'm going to take a little look at some of his deeper statistics from FootballMartin as a website I have a look at for statistics. Like I said, he's had the 2 goals, but he had an XG of 4.44. XG on target, 2.88. He's had 23 shots this season, just the 7 on target. And he has had 11 successful dribbles. That's around about 45% rate of successful dribbles. He's not a player that dribbles. Yeah, he goes past players, I think, with a fair bit of pace at times. I don't think he's got in those positions anywhere near enough, though. He's won just the 5 tackles this season. He's won 37 duels. That's 36% in total. Not a physical player, Cameron Archer, but he's a pacey player. Likes to play off the final man, really, on the shoulder of a defender. But he's only had the 10 Premier League starts this season. There's been a lot to ask of him. He's still only 23 years old. I thought he was a player that we were bringing in for the future. He's good on his right foot. I love the way he played at Arsenal when he scored that goal. I thought he was brilliant that day. The home game against Liverpool really stood out for me in the Carabao Cup. I thought he was really good that night. And he works really, really hard. I just don't think he's had like a really consistent run where he's been given chance after chance in terms of the team creating chances. But for him, it must be tough to be in it unless he's pushing for a move. But if they're prepared to potentially let him go, which is what the rumour is this evening, tough for a young man. It's been a really, really hard year for Southampton in general, but very surprised to see this be a really good signing for Leeds. Leeds are a side that are chasing promotion back to the Premier League, and they're seeing him good enough for the Championship, but that is where we're going. But Southampton looks like they could potentially let him go. There's a real mixed reaction across social media. For me, if you're going to let him go, you have to bring somebody in. You can't let him go without bringing somebody in. There's just not enough up front. We can't be reliant on Stuart, who's injured, Unuachu, who could potentially be sold as well, and never going to score a bucket load of goals, is he? And Adam Armstrong. I find it a very, very strange one. It looks like they will let him go, potentially. So they must have somebody up their sleeve. But Ivan Duric's presser today ahead of Ipswich, he was there won't be much business done between now and Monday. So it's a very, very strange one. Get involved in the comments box below. How do you feel about this one? Thoughts on Archer this season so far? I just think he would have done a really good job in the Championship for us, but it does look like the manager doesn't favour him. He's only selected him to start in one Premier League game this since he's come in as manager, and that was against two big centre-backs at Nottingham Forest away when he was trying to freshen up the side. And he's prepared to go with false nines and not play him. So, yeah, I feel for him. I think it's been a really difficult move. But when you look at the transfer business that we've made, we'll come on to it at the end of the show. And we'll talk about who we signed in January and who of those players could potentially end up all out the door by the end of this January window. It's quite incredible, really. So the other big story the last couple of days has been around Kyle Walker-Peters. I had an interesting tweet about Kyle Walker-Peters earlier, actually. Said, good riddance. He's been awful for the last 2 seasons. He actually used a swear word in it. I actually can't believe that anyone think he's been awful for the last 2 seasons. I don't think he's been at his best this season, but he stuck with it and played with this last season. I thought he was magnificent at times last season. I wouldn't say he's been anywhere near awful. I think he needs a fresh start, though, personally. And if you're an outsider looking in, you would probably agree with that as well. But it was rumoured early on in the weekend, actually back to the start of the week, that Kyle Walker-Peters could potentially be sold between 8 and 9 million, and the club will let him go for that valuation, between 8 and 9 million pounds. Galatasaray are rumoured to have made a bid for him, and that was doing the rounds for quite a few days. However, it came out yesterday, that he is willing to stay and play out the remainder of the season and become a free agent. Well, he puts him in a very nice position if you become a free agent at the end of the season. He'd be able to pick up a nice signing on fee. There's no club involved. You saw it happen with Shay Adams last year, and you saw it happen with Stuart Armstrong as well. He took that move to Canada. And look, it puts him in a good position at the end of the season. Not so great for Saints. They're not going to get anything back on him, which is, I don't think it's a situation that you want to find yourself in as players in the final year of their contract and then leave him for free at the end. I'm sure they wouldn't have wanted that, but look, they've let it happen 3 times now with 3 players. It's not ideal for me, but it does look, from what I've read today, and I heard it before, that he does potentially want to stay in England. And there was Graham Bailey. Some people say he's not the greatest source in the world. He's a transfer reporter. He's a correspondent, and he went on to say that Tottenham are ready to offer him a deal in the summer when he is a free agent. So maybe you would imagine that his agent's spoken to a club and he's got something in the pipeline, somebody that does want him. I still think he's been a brilliant servant to the club. I really, really do. I wouldn't... Look, if he went in January, it'd be a blow, but you'd rather get a bit of money for him now. I think it could come in handy, that money. But somebody said he's been terrible for going on 3 years. Would you agree with that? Get involved in the comments box below. Give me your thoughts on Kyle Walker-Peters. Does he depart, or does he stay and play out and become a free agent? I think it'd be the latter. I think he'd play out, hold on and become a free agent, unless Saints can pick up a nice little price tag for him. I'll be tending to lean towards picking up a price tag. Right, elsewhere in transfer news around Southampton, Bayern Munich and Dortmund are apparently looking at Tyler Dibling, chasing Tyler Dibling, I read yesterday. But Bayern believe they have the chance to bring him in, apparently. How true that is, I don't know. These are just rumours that you read. What are your thoughts on that one? Is he a Bayern Munich player, Tyler Dibling? I don't think he'd go anywhere now. I think he'd probably end up staying. I think longer the window goes, it'd be a summer move for Tyler Dibling. And the good news is he is fit for Ipswich away. He has been training. He's back and he's in contention for the weekend. Brilliant. Be interesting to see if Southampton do risk him at the weekend. if there are clubs sniffing around him. They won't want him to get injured, that's for sure. So, yeah, talk of him. There was Newcastle read as well. Read that this morning. Look, I think he's a top talent. Just needs to make the right move now. If he's going to make that move, then no doubt he will. He'll be too good for the Championship, and that is where we are going. Right, Udinese, they've expressed an interest apparently in signing our goalkeeper Gavin Bazunu on loan. That was in the Irish Independent yesterday, Wednesday. Interesting one, that. Will he go out on loan? I think he will, especially if Ramsdale stays. I think they will send him out on loan. I'm not sure I'd go selling him at this stage. He could be an asset next season if he does become our goalkeeper. What are your thoughts on that one? Would you loan him, sell him, or would you keep him and let Ramsdale go? Give me your thoughts on that one in the comments box below. So, but Udinese, they've apparently expressed an interest in him. An ex-Saint could potentially be moving back to the Championship. A man that left us at the end of the season, Stuart Armstrong. I put a tweet out about this one yesterday, that West Bromwich Albion were very, very keen to sign former Southampton midfielder Stuart Armstrong. But it looks like he's off to Sheffield Wednesday to play for Danny Röhl. That was leaked this morning by some press across in Canada, that he is ready to return to England. He wants a return, apparently. And a lot of Southampton fans saying, go get him back, go get him back. I'm not sure about this whole going back, getting players. Look, he was brilliant for us, a proper good pro. And for any Sheffield Wednesday fan tuning in, I know quite a few of you do, I think he'd be a really, really good signing for you if you do get him. If that could be done by the time this video is out, it could be done. It could be a deal that's completed. But yeah, look, I think he's a brilliant, brilliant player. Brilliant player. He's great for us. I'll never forget the goal he scored against Coventry as well in the FA Cup. I was in that corner of the Kingsland North when he scored that. It was absolutely brilliant. The way up, bent in the top corner. One of my favourite Stuart Armstrong moments were in that white kit with the red on it in the home game. Really good, that limited edition kit. Right, what else did we have? Just away from transfer news, just for a minute, I just wanted to touch upon a man that scored in the Champions League last night, a player that Southampton had at the football club, Nathan Teller. He scored last night, gone from scoring goals in the Championship to the Champions League, said Talk Sport. Good night for him. Somebody, I put that out on X actually, and said, maybe I kind of felt that maybe he was a little bit mismanaged at Southampton in terms of maybe wasn't given enough run of games really. And a lot of people were saying he was never Premier League quality. We let him go to Burnley and brought Sam Adozie in as his replacement. I always found that a bit of an odd one at the time. Yeah, look, I'm glad he's done well. Then somebody else tweeted to me back, said, well, he scored against the Sunday League side in the Champions League. I didn't realise Sunday League sides could get playing in the Champions League, but I get what he was saying. I get it. What were your thoughts on that as well? I was really pleased with him. Good to see him doing well. I know he's not a regular for his side, but look, he's I like him. I think he's a good player. Good to see an ex-Saint doing well, and there's certain players you don't mind. Some of these young that come through the club, it's good to see them doing well. I'm really, really pleased for him. Another player that was at Southampton, actually, when you're talking about transfer news, this is away from Southampton, but a player that was with Saints many years ago, Kevin Danso. Tottenham looked to sign him, apparently, from RC Lens. However, they've been put off by the 30 million euro price tag. A lot of money that they want for him. Big bucks, that is. And talking about RC Lens, who I've mentioned there, they're also reportedly interested in Kamaldeen Silamana. There was talk yesterday that they were looking to take the Ghanaian winger to France to play for them, but they were looking at a loan with a possible option to buy. But from what the reports were saying yesterday, that Southampton wanted a big sell-on fee, but they were talking around 7 to 8 million euros. The Saints paid 20 plus million for him. So I find that one a very, very strange transfer if that one does happen. Back tuning into real departures again, which I don't think Silamana will go. Personally, I think the manager will keep him. Charlie Taylor, he was linked with a move to Hull. That looks like that was off. I think they've got a bit pissed with that now. There was talk of Watford. I still think he'd go out. He will leave. But it's obviously he's looking for a transfer down south, potentially a London move. Watford were mentioned yesterday. I haven't read any more, but Charlie Taylor, where will he end up? Not worked out for him. So I said at the top of the show, didn't I? Players that come in. Charlie Taylor looks like he's off. Is a long list of players that we brought in that it looked like going to go out. Archer could go, that was bought in that window as well. Maxwell Cornet, he's off as well. It was just an awful transfer window, wasn't it? That summer, when you look back on it, I know it's all in hindsight, but you could end up with potentially 4 or 5 from that group gone already. Right, elsewhere in transfer news, just going to focus on, obviously that wraps up everything for Southampton. I hope you've enjoyed hearing that, but I was just going to give some thoughts on a couple of other transfers. I watched Aston Villa last night. I did a watch along on TikTok actually. Quite enjoyed watching them play. They're a good side to watch, Aston Villa, I think. I really do enjoy some of the football they play. They obviously had a bid in before their game. They would have been furious with it for Ollie Watkins. They were talking around £60 million for the England striker. But to have the bid and that to get linked before a big Champions League game, I thought was quite incredible. But he's an Arsenal fan. I didn't realise that. I saw a little clip last night that Watkins is an Arsenal fan. So it'll be interesting to see if he ends up there. Get involved in the comments box below. I know it's away from Southampton, but it's a big story. Will that one happen? I don't think it will. They've obviously gone in a bit too late because it does look like John Duran is going to sign for Al Nassr. He is going to be on some serious money, by the way. We're talking about £300,000 a week to play in Saudi. What are your thoughts on that? What's the ambition to go and play in Saudi? It's just about money, surely. Where's the ambition from a young striker to go and play in Saudi right now? Can he do it at the end of his career? The medical was booked for today, and it does look like that was going to happen. By the time this is out there, he could already be an Al Nassr player. I find it bizarre, the decision that some of these players make. Who's advising these players? Absolutely incredible stuff. But I think, by the looks of it, if he's gone, that you'd end up seeing Ollie Watkins stay at Aston Villa. But they are the blueprint, aren't they, right now, for the way they go about their business, developing players and what they're doing. I don't know what they paid for Duran, but they're going to sell him for €77 million. And that could have a knock-on effect with Wolves, because apparently the key target is Cunha from Wolves, and Cunha going to Villa. If they get a big bid, Wolverhampton Wanderers, but will they turn down a big bid? And they're talking of £50 million upwards for Cunha. That would be a big blow for Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are fighting the drop. I still think it's going to be real touch and go for them in the relegation scrap. Give me your thoughts on that. Right, that wraps up everything that I wanted to cover, really, on the transfer show today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed all the rumours, all the speculation, and it is just chat at this moment in time. I'm not massively in the know, so I'm just here to talk about it and to react about it, really. That's what the channel was all about, reacting, giving an opinion, and we all have different opinions, and I value yours. I love you to get involved in the comments box below. Make sure you do smash a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel as well. It would mean the absolute world to me. And make sure you do go follow me on all your major social networking platforms as well. And before I do go, I just wanted to mention my Patreon. I have a brand new Patreon that I've just set up. It's a way that you can support the channel with a monthly contribution, a small monthly contribution. And I'm offering some perks and some exclusive episodes and some exclusive video content as well. You can get involved, patreon.com/FootballMartin. Thank you so much for watching the transfer show today. I will see you next time in another show here on the Football Martin channel.